when I started as a notary, I started with the loan closings. I really wanted to be a part of the real estate world, and that's a way for me to be a part of real estate without having to be an agent. Now, with being the agent, people definitely ask me which I prefer. Have a video on that, and all in all, what the the last 2 years have taught me, I definitely prefer being a notary. More people appreciate me. I like being the icing on the cake, and it doesn't take up too much of like your time and energy and your soul. Like being an agent like really really like suck your soul. So if you have an agent, appreciate your agent, but this is not about real estate, being a real estate agent. Anyway, so I started with loan closings. That was the first service that I ever offered, and it's service for the first 2 years of my business. And once I started getting into, okay, I need to market my business, get a Google listing, business Addy, all the things, I started to offer more services because I started during a refi boom. So closings were up, people were purchasing during the pandemic. Interest rates were down, people were buying properties out the ass. And so, of course, that's where I benefited, and I got to do a lot of closings. So I started doing that. So, number one, you can offer real estate closings. And that does take knowledge. It does take time. You do have to get education on what documents look like. You don't have to really know the documents or explain them because that'll be practicing the law, but it's important to know where to find the information or where to read, and show clients like where to read about what they're signing. And then if they have complex questions, we can call the attorney, the lender, or title. All depends. Usually the point of contact is title, and then get the questions answered. But yeah, that would take some education. So, you know, you don't necessarily have to do that right off the back. Some people do. I did. But if you watch my previous video about tools that you need, it can be expensive, especially now. I think when I bought my printer, it was like 300, and we are going into 2025. So 5 years later, it's double. I think my same printer that I bought was like 3 something, and now it's 6 and change. So that's crazy. I wouldn't recommend, if you're just starting out, to like jump into the closings unless you're going to direct. Your title company or the attorneys will print it for you, and you can just go over there, and that's how you make your connections. By all means, you'll definitely need them if you want to do signing services. And I've learned by working for signing companies and taking their orders, and signing companies can be in California, Florida. There's one that I work with all the time, and they're based in Florida. I definitely need a printer to do that. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend just starting that off the rip. If you got the bread to buy all the things, by all means, do your thing, honey. But you have the loan closings, and you can do purchases, selling, refinances. I just prepped some documents for refinance that I have tomorrow. Reverse mortgages, commercial loans. You can do all those things. The prices vary, but you can definitely do all those things. I know some notaries that only focus on real estate and only do real estate. And with the one thing that I know, that real estate really has its ups and downs, it fluctuates. In the same way as an agent, the market affects my business. It also does that as a notary. Obviously, I can have more real estate clients than on the notary end, right? To have more volume, which I'm working on to do that. But regardless, if I have 10 clients and putting them all together to create larger volume, the market still fluctuates. You know what I mean? So I also like to do general notary services. So going back into when I started to Google my business page, things like that, if it needed a stamp, I am in there. Do you do this? Yes. Yes. You're getting a divorce, I'm going to come sign those papers. You're getting a prenup, I'm coming to sign those papers. You need your travel consent form documents, signing those papers. So don't sleep on general notary work. I think I said that in my last video. Do not sleep on it. If you think that you want to be a mobile notary, by all means, general notary work. Make sure you have the education on how to do a proper notarization. You have your reference books. If you want to be a part of the NNA to call and ask any questions regarding anything, I definitely did that all the time. Hey, I have this document. Somebody signing this. I have this question. And the NNA was always there to help. So you can join the NNA and, be a part of that to be able to answer any of your questions, to be on the go. But don't sleep on general notary work. I feel like I'm on a tangent. So loan closings, real estate closings, that's a service that you can offer. I also offer apostille services. You don't have to be a notary to do apostilles. I was going to put that at the end with like the non-notary things that you can also do as a notary, but yeah, you can offer apostilles. You don't have to be a notary to offer apostille services, but the service will include a notary. So if you're looking to start an apostille business, maybe partner with a notary, or just have your notary vendors right on the list for when you get those calls to do it. You'll have like your notary vendors. Okay, I have an apostille that needs to go out in this area. I'm going to call my New York notary. I'm going to call whatever, or county, whatever the case may be. That's what you can do, and you have your apostille business and services. I am a notary, so I kind of do all that, and I do all of the administrative pieces, do the notarization pieces. I have contracted notaries to do other parts for me, such as taking it to the county clerk, basically the courier piece of it. I've been able to have people do that courier piece for me if I have another appointment or showing. So yeah, we have your loan closings and apostilles. And then we also have estate planning. These are the top 3 services that I just like to talk about the most. I do everything, as I mentioned. If it needs a stamp, if it requires my stamp, I'm in there. And estate planning. So estate planning is, they have like their living wills, health directives, all those things. Sometimes attorney prepares them, and sometimes they pull them off the internet and fill it out. I'm there to ask them, do they understand what they're signing, willingly signing these documents? Do they, all of those things. But yes, the estate plannings I also enjoy offering, and it also takes up less time depending than a loan closing, depending on on the situation, the attorney, what's going on in the background, that can take up to 2 hours. So $200 in 2 hours, it's not that bad. Would I rather $200 in an hour, $200 in 45 minutes? Absolutely. But I always plan out for at least an hour. But estate planning, if they're not elderly, I think it will, and not too many people. I had an estate planning appointment once, and I think it was 5 or 6 people in the room. 5. Husband and wife and their 3 kids. So 5 people in the room. So that took a little while because we were, passing the documents around and stuff like that. I mean, that still wasn't bad. 45 minutes. And it didn't require witnesses. And I also offer to bring the witnesses. That's at an additional cost, but I can bring the witnesses. So you have the apostilles, real estate closings, and estate plannings. Those are the 3 that I like to market the most. It'll be in all like my Instagram posts. It's listed at the top on Google, on my website. I'll double check my website, but I have those listed there like that. How did I land on those 3 to really promote the most? It's what I got called for the most. When people will call me, hey, can you do an apostille? Yup, absolutely. I'm going to do all the work, call what needed to be done in the state of New Jersey. And that was it. Got that done, and, increased in phone calls at that point. real estate closings. I just had the experience, and so that's what I do. I love marketing that I can do that. And since I'm an agent, I'm always, I can do your closing. Agents don't always like to collaborate and co-broke. All the shade. I'm not going to say no shade. All the shade. A lot of agents don't like to collaborate with each other. So I don't even, let's work. No, I'll close your deal. I'll help you, look like a rock star agent by being able to have the convenience of a mobile notary coming to meeting your client wherever they're at, and then also taking pictures for the gram, right? So in that way, that also works. So of course, real estate is always going to be there. I know tons of agents, and when they need me, they do think about me for their closings. So real estate closings, and then the estate planning. I also got tons of calls for that. Another thing that I highly advertise is prenups and divorces. I get called for that very often. That's probably my fourth most requested service. So I have to be a notary for it, but most notaries, or not most, notaries may offer it. You'll find notaries to do the service, and that's an I-9. I offer it because, again, I'm close to the city. So many people work remote and need that service. So I offer I-9 verification as well, but you don't need to be a notary in order to offer those services. Another bonus that you can offer is going to be another bonus that you can offer is mobile fingerprinting. So I really looked into this a lot in the beginning. I didn't deep dive because I was just like, girl, one step at a time, one thing to learn. I was definitely overloading myself with damn, what else can I do as a notary? What else can I do? Offer other services, and just, again, an overload of information. That's real. I understand wanting to learn everything under the sun, but yeah, no, that was doing too much. I may look into it again because it definitely seems pretty lucrative. But some notaries offer that service as well. And you can also be a wedding officiant. Some states, notaries can offer the service. Like, you're a notary, you can be a wedding officiant, and it's just like that. I'm not sure what states those are, but some states work like that. And whereas Jersey, you just need to be ordained. Yeah, you need to be ordained. I am ordained. I do not do the service. It's listed on my thumbtack, but isn't something that I promote. If I did, I might have done a wedding or two by now, but I haven't promoted that I offer the service or that I'm ordained. But you can offer wedding officiant services and marry people. So if that's your thing, you want to be around all the love vibes, that's a service that you can provide. You don't have to be a notary in order to do that or build that. It's also a pretty inexpensive business to start as well. You just have to be okay with talking to people and being around people. Maybe not. I don't know. You just get up there and talk. I don't really like talking to people, yet here I am. And field inspections I have done, but field inspections wasn't something that I got into because I was like, I know that notaries offer this service, or notaries, also do field inspection work, and signed up for companies in the same way that I did signing services. I think I was coming from a notary appointment one day, and I got a phone call, and of course, when the business line rings, it's money, right? So I answered the phone, and she, I guess, found me in a notary database because I signed up for a lot. And she called me and, basically let me know that, they're a field inspection company and they were looking for contractors in the area and they love working with notaries. I think it's the background check thing or the fact that we're supposed to be all impartial. I'm not sure. No, notaries are supposed to be trustworthy people, is what I hear. And yeah, and it was another way for me to learn Jersey City since I'm not from here. I essentially started my notary business 4 or 5 months after moving to Jersey, and then we were locked down for a year or however long we were locked down. So I got to drive around a lot doing that. I get to do those jobs maybe once a quarter. I may have some coming up in December. I know some properties that may be due for inspection just because I've done them in the last 2 years. That doesn't guarantee that they'll call me. But that was just a pattern in the few years that I've been doing them. So you can also offer field inspections. I've seen other notaries doing, watching on the gram and stuff, and posts going on their inspections, and I think they're all very different. The basis is like taking photos. When the company that I worked for, there was a report. You had to talk about, like, is the area, how, like, does the property fit in with the area? So if it's like a newer build in an older neighborhood, you would say it's like the best looking thing on the block, or is it the most raggedy thing? You notate whether there's cracks in the building, parking, you take pictures of all those things, notate it, stuff like that. It requires pictures. The company that I worked for required 25 pictures. The front, all the sides, roof, field inspection. So there's so many other things that I think that you can offer. Shit, even when people ask, well, what else do you do? I sell real estate as well. So if you need to buy, rent, or sell, I also plug that when at the end of appointments, if they ask, but maybe also shouldn't if they ask. Here, I also do this. Yeah, so my services, my primary services that I like to offer are apostille services, which you don't have to be a notary for, again, but you do need a notary to be a part of the transaction. Real estate and estate planning, power of attorneys, I-9 verifications. Those are things that I like to promote. It's what I get the most calls for, so I like to push them out there more, because that's what people are looking for, and that's what people need. But I feel like I've said this 1,000 times. If it requires a notarial stamp and a signature of a notary, call me. I'm in there. I'm coming over. Oh, I almost forgot. I almost forgot. If your state allows, you can also be a remote online notary. So you don't even have to leave your house. I go to people's houses, coffee shops, the side of the road, wherever the fuck, and I perform notarizations. But for those of you who don't want to leave the house or cannot leave the house, you can still be a notary and not have to go anywhere and provide remote online notarizations. I would like to really get into my remote online, or RON, my RON bag, like for real. I was watching a notary on TikTok. I'm new to TikTok, and need to remember her name because I really like her content on TikTok. But she's making the same money that I'm making by going outside. I need to inquire more. If I don't have to leave the house and still get the same bag, yeah, sign me up. But I do also do online, remote online notarizations as well. Not as much as my mobile service. People are still iffy about it. So I think that I just need to educate the public more on that, it's legitimacy and yeah, like, educate people on its legitimacy and that it's still safe as far as like identifying the signers and things like that. But I would really love to get into my RON bag. So I always talk about that because sometimes people call me and they go, wow, that's expensive. And I let them know you can go right down to the UPS. It's 3 blocks away. But when you Googled who came up first, it was me. I came up before UPS. I've had 2 clients go to that same UPS and didn't notarize their documents correctly, and they had to use my service anyway. Anywho, yes. More remote online notarizations I would love. So yeah, when that happens, I let them know that I'm not like a in-person, you can just walk in. But even if I was sitting there, no, you can't just walk in. By appointment only. It says it on my website, but people don't read. Go figure. So yeah, when people will call and say that my services are too expensive, I'll then also let them know that I do also provide remote online notarizations as well, and it's a little bit less than half. Yeah, right? Less than half? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but it's less. It's less than what I charge to leave the house, and then, and then per stamp that can like add up. But usually if it's like one document, like someone called me today actually, a small rant before we leave. Someone called me today and she was like, "Oh, are you a notary?" I want to be a smartass and be like, "Duh," because it says that, right? It said notary when you call me, but whatever. I want the business. Um, are you a notary? Yeah. How much do you offer for your services? I let her know how much I offered for the services. Asked what it was, collected all the information that I needed to collect. And I mean, it starts at what it starts at anyway. I gave her my price and she was like, "It was just one document." I know. I heard you. And that's how much it costs. If you would like to do it remotely, we can do it and it costs X. And she was, "Thank you. And I know again, where you're calling me from. So I'm going to let you know you can go to UPS and pay $7.95 to be exact and call it a day." So yeah, that is my small rant. She didn't want to do either. She was like, "I needed the real stamp" when I recommended the remote. And I'm like, remote is real. You need a wet signature. So remote wasn't really an option for her. She needed a wet signature, which was fun, but the price is the price. Like I'm not coming outside or turning around for that matter, because I was already leaving the area. So I'm not gonna turn around for less than what I'm charging after also sitting in like an hour and 20 minutes of traffic. Yeah. Nah, sister, you're just gonna have to pay those coins. Anywho, that's it. Those are the services that you can offer as a notary. I want to recap them again after post rambling. Apostilles, real estate services, estate plannings. You can do power of attorneys, I-9 verification. You also non-notarial things. You can be a wedding officiant, you can offer mobile fingerprinting, and the field inspections. Yes. So those are services that you can offer. There's tons of other things that are out there. I told you my top services and why I offer them. If you're a notary, do you only offer one service? What other services do you provide? Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns. Also, let me know. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Appreciate ya.